Government says it has disrupted a Russian attempt to hack the World Chemical Weapons watchdog. It comes just as Britain accuses Russian military intelligence of carrying out a host of cyber attacks to undermine Western democracies, a claim Moscow denies. With me now in the studio is our correspondent Alistair Sanford. Alistair, what have we been hearing at The Hague?
Yes, it seems, Tokes, that what we're getting now is a sort of coordinated attempt on several fronts to expose Russian cyber activity aimed at undermining the West. The finger very much being pointed at Russia's military intelligence agency, the GRU. There's been a news conference this lunchtime with top Dutch senior defense officials in The Hague, and they say that they stopped a cyber attack on the OPCW, the Organization for the Prevention of Chemical Weapons, and that in April it caught 4 officials who were spying, and it said that they had spying equipment at a hotel next to the OPCW, and they were expelled. Now, the organization at the time was trying to identify the substance used in the Skripal's poisoning at Salisbury in England, and of course the UK has already pointed the finger at the GRU for that. Now, the Dutch say that the Russian spying operation was thwarted with the help of British officers, and also there are reports saying that sources are saying that there was a separate attempt at around the same time to attack the UK's chemical weapons facility at Porton Down. That's not confirmed.
I see, and this seems to be part of a coordinated campaign against Russia, because the UK and Australia are also accusing Moscow.
Yes, the UK overnight issued a very long statement accusing Russian military intelligence of what they call indiscriminate and reckless cyber attacks, and these accusations come from the UK intelligence service itself. They say that many attacks that were previously thought to be just, known to be described as global hackers with some various suspicions about who was behind it, they're now saying very specifically they are almost certain that this was the GRU. They list 12 hacking group code names, including things like Fancy Bear, we might have heard of, and Cyber Caliphate, which has before had been linked to ISIL. Now they're saying this was Russia. They list 6 specific attacks, of which 4 are sourced to Russia now for the first time. The Bad Rabbit attack in October 2017, that was an IT attack that hit several countries, but especially Ukraine, disrupting the metro in Kiev and Odessa airports. The release of medical records, confidential medical records of athletes who were under the control of WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency. Now, that came in the wake of the ban on Russian athletes who were stopped from going to Rio. There was also an attack in 2015 on an unnamed UK TV station where emails were hacked. And crucially, the hacking of the US Democratic National Committee. And of course, the US has also targeted GRU officers for that. Russia has always denied these sort of accusations, and once again this morning they've come out very forcefully, the Foreign Ministry really dismissing it as a total fabrication.
Indeed, Moscow describing these claims as unworthy. Alistair Sanford, thanks for looking into that. Well, just as we speak, NATO defence ministers are meeting in Brussels, and our correspondent Brian Carter is there and following it all for us. Brian, this is not just an argument now, as we've been hearing, between Russia and Britain, is it?
No, Tooks, and with these latest revelations, it's sure to stir even more discussions, even more debate in this building behind me, where, as you said, the defense ministers of NATO are meeting today. And coincidentally, today they were going to talk about cybersecurity. This morning, the Secretary for Defense of the UK, Mr. Gavin Williamson, said that NATO allies stood shoulder to shoulder to face such actions, and that the UK will continue to expose Russia's actions in the hopes that this will act as a disincentive. He also said that the UK was investing close to £2 billion in cybersecurity, which they want to share with their allies. And he also said that the actions of Russia were the actions of, I quote, a pariah state. This morning, the EU chief diplomat Federica Mogherini also spoke, and she said that the EU was also stepping up its efforts to counter cyber threats in coordination with NATO. So all this talks comes at a time when cyber threats are increasingly considered as a very serious danger by NATO. NATO over the last few years have been increasing their means and their capabilities on cybersecurity. They even went as far as to say that a cyber attack could be considered enough grounds to trigger the famous Article 5 of NATO, the Collective Defense Clause, which says that an attack against one ally is considered as an attack against all allies.